There we go. All right. So this will also be recorded for YouTube. Is everybody cool with that? Everybody cool with that?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah, totally
appreciate.
fine.
Of course.
Yeah,
You get to put my
I figured
ugly mug on
streamers.
YouTube?
So
Damn.
yeah, I figured like streamers, content creator type people, and I see what you do, Raccoon TV. I see what you do on the internet. So don't even, okay? I've seen the stuff that you do. Anyways, while we're waiting for Ari, we're gonna go ahead and get started, and then once they're ready, they can go ahead and we'll stop the whole thing so they can give their intro because I'm like that. Oh, there they are.
Sorry, being a drama queen, I just turned off my split cam. I fucking give up.
I
Sorry
feel
about
you.
that.
I feel you. Go ahead with your intro.
I've been streaming for 8 months and I still suck at this. Hi guys, my name is Ari. I go by the Progressive Brat. I started off on TikTok and then I was like, fuck TikTok because they kept banning me. Now I'm a streamer. I'm a progressive streamer. I talk everything progressive politics. And alongside being a streamer, I also do a lot of local grassroots stuff as well. I'm also a writer for Newsweek's Truth Out and Who What Why. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Not gonna lie.
I go by the Progressive Brat if you want to check me out.
Not gonna lie, I did not know the last stuff. I didn't know that at all. I don't know how I missed that. Beckett, are you ready to do your intro? Is everything running good over there?
I am. I'm just again. Am I still muted? No, I'm not. I'm.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm having audio issues once again. Thank you very much, OBS, for fucking me over every single time. But anyway, yeah, I can introduce myself here. Hi guys, I'm Beckett. I'm Beckett LA on most social media platforms. My biggest presence right now is on TikTok, but I am getting started on Twitch. So yeah, let's do this.
Listen, this is another person who I just volunteered for moderation position. Listen, when I was creating the plane that is my Discord server, I kind of just needed gods there first, like demigods there. So I just kind of picked people that I could trust with the roles and was like, hey, this is your job now. When I'm rich and famous, you will be paid handsomely. That's never happening for me. Anyways,
never given that spiel.
Yeah. Oh well, you weren't. It was in the welcome packet. It was in the welcome packet. Like
welcome packet?
What welcome packet?
They got a welcome packet and I didn't.
Shut up.
Right.
Anyways, we're not going to talk about my bad business practices. Anyways, we're going to just get into the topic at hand, and the topic at hand is, of course, the tater tot himself, the potato, the chrome dome. I don't know, whatever rhymes with that. I was going with something there and it didn't work. So update on that situation, by the way. According to Vigilante, and don't quote me on this, quote him if it's wrong. Beat him up. Apparently, Andrew Tate has recently been banned on TikTok as well. It's not just Facebook and Insta.
That's true.
Oh, it is true?
That's true.
I read an article about it this morning, actually.
Yeah.
He's banned from everything, but only platform he has left is Twitch.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
There is a further update to this.
The stuff that he do violate Twitch guidelines.
Wait, hold on, one at a time. Who was somebody said something? Somebody said my name, I think. So who said my name? Okay, no one said my name. Okay.
No.
Yeah, how does everybody feel? I've already expressed how I felt. It's like a pimple that you've been trying to one of those really pesky ones, especially Bacne type pimples, one of them shits. That's how it feels. One of those has finally been just the sweet release of that. You know what I mean? Am I just being gross? Anyways, how do y'all feel about it? Because I'm ecstatic. I think this is a net positive for society as a whole, and we can only, as a society, shoot for the moon from here. I'm talking, we might actually go to Mars without Elon Musk. Holy shit. We gonna get there ourselves without his ass. How do y'all feel?
There are always...
We'll go ahead. What's your name? Raccoon TV chimed in first, so we'll let Raccoon go first.
It's fantastic, but now since Andrew Tate is gone, somebody's gonna try to replace him.
Yeah.
And that's never good. Now we have to wait for the next I don't know, Stan to take his place and be I'm the better Andrew Tate. bad. Like, he
God.
started an entire chain of, like, little boys from ages of 10 to 12 to 1832 on this, like, long train of, I have to control women. If I don't control women, I'm not a man. Like, that's... Can I cuss?
Yeah, go ahead. This is Twitch.
Okay.
This ain't TikTok. Say all the curse words you want.
Okay. I just didn't know, like, your guidelines on cussing.
I'm not streaming on TikTok right now, so curse like a sailor.
Fuck yeah. Anyways. That's my take.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
If everybody doesn't mind, I do have a bit of an update to add into this.
Oh shit! What?
Another one?
Another one, yeah. And this is thanks to one of our members in the Twitch chat right now, Squeaky Nichols. They said something, and then I just double checked real quick on a quick Google search. They said that his house in Romania was raided by the feds today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yeah! Oh hell yeah! It's just
W, big W.
Isn't
And
he supposed to be sent to prison for, like, sex trafficking or something?
Well, funny you should mention that.
They're investigating. I know that.
Yeah,
they're definitely investigating him for sure.
Funny you should mention that. In the Google search that I did, just to see what information is about there. So don't quote me on this, but this is just a quick search that I found. Apparently, in that raid, there was reports of a Romanian woman being held there against her will.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh,
Holy
that wasn't
shit.
today. That was in April. Yeah, there was an American and a Romanian woman who were being reportedly held hostage, and they raided his house. But yeah, that was in April.
That was in April. Okay.
Wait, so hold on.
See, that's why I said don't quote me on this.
They found like kidnapped women in there, and like he wasn't arrested.
They confirmed that there were women in the house. One was American, but they didn't comment further. But yeah, that's what it was. I mean, it's the Romanian police, so like, yeah. I mean, you could probably.
There's a lot of things happening in Romania.
We found women in here, held against their will. We will do nothing. Keep going, boys. Let me know if you find any. We only arrest people apparently for nuclear codes. That's it. We don't arrest them when they have people.
I'm sure there was a nice big bag of money dropped for him too. So.
Wait, what about money? What?
That's it. I'm sure there was probably a nice big bag of money dropped for the Romanian police too to shut up.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, he probably paid him off. He probably paid him off. Like, hey, yo, top G. Here's 3 Gs. Don't say nothing.
Don't get me in trouble, homie.
Don't get me in trouble, home dog. Here you go. He most definitely paid the cost. You didn't see 3 women in here. No, and the one like the one cop that's like new to the force and everything. I saw 4 sitting in the other like the head like sheriff like smacks him on the head. You didn't see shit. You didn't see shit.
Oh my god.
That's exactly
how
that
happened.
happened.
You didn't say shit or your family goes to the fucking gulag.
Oh my god.
Take him to the gulag.
Am I wrong?
Nah, you right. I mean, would Andrew Tate technically be considered like over there like partially like an elite or like kind of like a member of the elite or elite enough to pay the cops off? I say yes.
Yeah.
He launders money for the Romanian mafia.
Oh,
really?
Shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So yeah,
this keeps
definitely
getting worse.
Yeah, definitely not getting busted in Romania.
Yeah, I mean, he admits that he moved there so that he could rape women because they have more lax.
He did say that.
Yeah, that's true.
He did.
And
Say
that,
that.
like,
Christ.
he's pretty open about like paying off the police. I can't think of exactly the context in which he said that he did it, but I think it was in connection to like being accused of rape and then telling the cops like, no, that didn't happen, and then like sliding them some money and them looking the other way. But yeah, he's pretty open about that. But yeah, it's like allegedly his casinos serve as like a way to launder money for the Romanian mafia.
Mm-hmm. Romanian police are just corrupt in general. It sucks.
Asterisk police. Just police. Just police. We saw. I mean, that's not the topic for today, but we saw the latest police brutality case. Okay, where I'm looking at. Listen.
Hold on. You gotta be specific. You got to be specific, Eli. There's a lot of recent police brutality cases.
Oh,
you got to be.
God. You're right. You're right. I can't even. I don't even. We that's for another. That's for another day, another topic, another panel. Because we could just. I feel like every single one of us could go on for days about that shit right there. Go on. Just
agreed.
4 days. Like,
for sure.
I hate the police so much.
Same. Literally, nothing will sway me. We're getting too far off topic. I was gonna see. I told you. I could go
We're too
on for days
for this.
on this shit about like why 100% ACAB all day. Anyways, the 3 cops beating the hell out of the dude on the concrete. Yes, for Biscuit. That one right there.
Damn.
Yes, that one right there. Anyways, like how is Andrew Tate essentially like a supervillain? Right? Like, I think some of my clients sometimes, like, okay, I'm not trying to be a dick, because, like, I do work with the homeless for a living, but, like, some of my clients, I'm like, oh, my God, this person is a literal supervillain. I mean, what else do you call a person that has, like, 5 outstanding warrants that the cops won't arrest?
Supervillain.
Rich.
I mean, she is definitely not. She is definitely not.
Rich is...
But I'm just sitting there and I'm like, of course, like, I'm not trying to talk shit about my clients or anything, but it's like, if anything, it's a compliment, like, damn. Like, how much of a badass are you, Loki? Like, shit. Anyways, so I don't understand. I don't understand how like they looked at that and was like, yeah, we'll trade money, we'll trade human lives for money. Actually, you know what? That's a stupid question. We live in the capitalist hellscape that is planet Earth. Like it's blatantly obvious. Like, so I guess I should ask a question then. How do you think? What do you think the domino effect is? What do you think the domino effect is going to be from Andrew Tate being banned? Like, what do you think? Or do you think there is going to be a domino effect? Or do you think we're gonna move on? Like, there are some people that are saying that, like, you know, we're about to start living through like Gamergate Part 2, because someone brought up that I think it was actually Raccoon who brought up that
you can never like get my username right.
Because I know you in real life. Like, I literally know you. I know you. Like, in IRL. So I want to call you by your actual name, but like for privacy's sake, I don't. Like, I know what you said about someone's gonna step up to take his place, right? And there's a lot of people, especially a lot of liberals, especially on Twitter. Not gonna drop any names. But people that are saying like, oh, you're just contributing to like the next Tate, someone else is gonna step up and take his place. I mean, I think there already has been somebody in a way like on their way there, and I would say it'd be probably Sneeko or whatever.
Oh,
but, like,
probably.
What do you think? What do you guys think? How do you guys think this domino effect is gonna play out, or do you think it's going to play out? Like, thoughts, opinions, feelings.
I mean, I think Raccoon is totally right about someone else taking their place, because there's a lot of manosphere stuff going on, and like on top of that, like I don't think Gamergate ever really truly went away, because I've been in like gamer spaces and I've like seen what guys talk about, especially when you're perceived as female in online chats like I am. I get treated to so much sexist shit, and I think the only good thing I can say is that younger men will usually, if you call them out, will stop, but older guys, if they're doing the stuff, younger guys will copy that shit, and that's what I'm scared of, to be honest. Like, young men being recruited by these older men who will like manipulate you into buying their books of like pickup artistry bullshit or whatever else, all that garbage. So that's what I think about it.
I mean, yeah, that's basically like, haven't there been like teachers on like TikTok saying that, like, you know, my children, the students that I teach are like running around going top G, and like turning around and telling little girls in their classrooms like, you're fat and nothing, and I work for all my money,
Jesus
and that's
Christ.
why I'm a real man at 11 years old.
Yeah.
It was
holy shit.
My aunt works in the education department, and that happens to her. She has to physically stop little boys, like young as 8 years old, from talking like this. Like, have to call their parents and be like, hey, listen, Brody there, yeah, not doing good things, and explain. And it happens so much. And especially after the Andrew Tate thing, like, started getting big. She's like, who's Andrew Tate? I'm like, I don't want to talk about that.
I believe Ari was gonna say something.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut off anybody. It's interesting because I was actually looking through the teacher Reddit because teachers have like a Reddit, and there were female identifying teachers that were saying that my students that are men are super like they say misogynistic comments or things kind of like it seems as though it was regurgitated from something Andrew Tate said, and whether I think the domino effect that this will have, first of all, I think him getting banned is going to give a lot of Republicans ammo and saying, like, oh, see, you guys just ban people that want freedom of speech, which we all know is bullshit, right? Like, what he was saying was incredibly hurtful to many different people, like, across different, like, identifications and whatnot. But also, you know, it's just going to empower this hyper masculinity, like misogyny that we're seeing in our society as well. So I don't know. I don't think Andrew Tate getting banned is going to be the end of it. What will happen in the future though, I think is going to be really scary because I think it gives a lot of different people from Republicans to misogynists to these alpha men a lot more ammo, and it kind of like paves the way, in my opinion. So I don't know. It's scary. It's super scary.
They're gonna be victims either way because they elect themselves to be the better victims in society, the more important victims. So whether we do this or that, there's always gonna be something that they use. They're always gonna have ammos. It's like their privilege. When you're like in an elevated class or whatever you want to call it. So for me, it's like I think that this is actually very like defeating for the mindsets of a lot of people who follow him. And do we want them to feel empowered by letting him stick around and stay stuff, or do we want them to feel like, you know, maybe if I say this at my next job, people might look at me differently?
I mean, so like my thing is about like the whole like I think it's a net positive for society right now, at least. I think it's something to be celebrated, right? Like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, and this might be a little bit of a jump, but like when you break a Nazi's arm, they have one less arm to do Nazi shit with. When you take away a misogynist like platform, he has one less platform to spew misogynistic shit. Like there's always gonna be somebody, right, that is going, especially from like the right side of the political spectrum, right, who is going to feel victimized whenever you try to even remotely critique any of the things that they say or do, right? Like we can all agree on that, right? Like we see that like plain as day with, you know, not even just Republicans, but just right-wing people in general. Whenever you try to tell them like, hey, listen, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't just say the N-word hard R, they go, you're limiting my freedom of speech. Mm-hmm. Like, I think, like I said, I think it's a net positive for society. But yeah, pretty much, basically what Ari and Ninetail said. Yeah, but the thing is, they create ammo out of thin air. If there's not something for them to use as ammo, they'll make it. They will literally just craft a bullet out of thin air, and then the next thing you know, it's like there's like another, you know, Buffalo shooting or what have you, all because of dumb shit that they have crafted. So I feel like regardless of which way we go about this, like the best thing for us to do, in my opinion, would be to just continue to educate people as best as we can. If you feel like you need to, especially the more vulnerable people who are listening to this and participating in this discussion right now, you know, maybe get something to defend yourself. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, a gun if that's not what you want. But, you know, get something or fortify yourself, your house or something in some way, you know, for when these people go ballistic and when they go insane, when they go crazy, you know, and just continue to educate people. But somebody else talk and save me from
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, there's something that we haven't really touched on in discussing the domino effect from Andrew Tate's like just being removed. I think that what we have ignored is the domino effect of him existing in the first place. Like, yeah, it's good that he was removed from all these platforms, but that was too slow. That was way too slow.
Right.
We already heard from Ari, and we heard from I'm not sure who else had mentioned it. Teachers on the subreddits and on Twitter talking about the immediate impact that his content has had on children from 11 years old, 12 years old, all the way up. It is, we all have to remember, it is scarily easy for children to spread ideas. Scarily easy. And it does not go away that easily at all. He was removed far too late. It's good that we removed him. That is wonderful. But the damage was already done. And all somebody needs to do is pick up from where he left off. Nobody has to do anything major. They just have to keep on spewing the exact same things that he was spewing, and people will eat it up because the ideas that he had espoused are already set into the minds of millions of impressionable youth. So I think that is something that we really should be looking at more as well. Like, great, he's gone, lovely. There's going to be domino effects. Yeah, sure. That we have to look at too. But what damage is already here? That I think needs to be explored a lot more.
True. I think Jason had something that they were going to say.
Yeah, I guess with me, like the Republican Party is the party of reactionaries. So yeah, like was said earlier, they're gonna find something else to react to create to manufacture outrage, right? Because that's what they're really doing. They like to find ways to manufacture outrage. So when it comes to like somebody like Andrew Tate or Taint, as I call him, getting deplatformed, fuck it. I don't fucking care. Good, deplatform the motherfucker. He doesn't deserve to have a platform anyways. And if somebody's going to come back and talk about free speech absolutism, well, we've heard it all before. Lather, rinse, repeat. It's an old ass argument. So I don't really buy into it. And hopefully people are starting to see through the fact that that is just a weak ass argument in the first place. No, we need to move damaging people out of these spaces. We need to give them less of a stage, minimize their ability to spread their message, and in doing so, hopefully, our kids, and other impressionable young adults won't fall victim to the ideologies that he's pushing.
Exactly. That is true. Anybody else? I do have other questions, so don't.
Yeah, I think just in like terms of like the next Andrew Tate, I think it's kind of important just to like, Andrew Tate didn't come out of nowhere, right? This is someone who already had some baseline level of celebrity from his kickboxing career or whatever, and then from being on Big Brother, and he has like an abundance of wealth through sex trafficking. But I mean, even this new iteration of his popularity didn't come out. He's paying people to promote him. It was a coordinated PR campaign to rehabilitate his image after there was a raid on his house in Romania. And he created this program to recruit people who he paid to post his clips. It was quite literally an AstroTurf campaign on TikTok and on Twitch and on other platforms that was really successful. Other people don't have access to that. Like he wasn't necessarily filling a void that was necessary on the internet. He was forcing himself into that space. And of course, naturally, like AstroTurf campaigns do, it picked up like actual support from these people. But a lot of the clip channels that became extremely popular did so through being paid by him to post his clips. So taking away the ability to do that, because he did have to shut down his affiliate program. There's no more people getting paid to post his clips. So that already is massively helpful. But I mean, it's just of course the manosphere already exists, but it's just for a lot of people, they don't have those sorts of resources and connections that he had prior to this happening. So I don't necessarily think we have to be nervous about someone coming in the same way that he did. I mean, of course, like someone mentioned earlier, Gamergate never ended. It's just continued to go on. As a woman on the internet, I experience this bullshit every day. But I, of course, noticed an uptick once Andrew Tate became popular. But I don't know. I think it's a net positive. Most of his audience that he was appealing to were children, young boys, and they are extremely impressionable. But they are also they move on. He was a fad. He's gone now. They don't have access. If they don't have access to his content, the next whatever is going to come along and they'll forget about him. And the next it's not. I think we tend to view things from like a very political lens, of course. For these kids, it's not like a political thing. Like they didn't like Andrew Tate because he was a right winger. They thought he was cool. They liked him because they thought he was cool. So we just need to make sure that the next thing that they think is cool isn't a disgusting rapist, misogynist.
Make sure that the next thing they think is cool is us. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Ninetales.
That would be nice.
Little boys go back to Minecraft, please.
Yeah, go back to Minecraft. Go back to Pokemon.
Go back, Minecraft streamer. Go back to Minecraft.
Yeah,
get into the dream SMP world.
Yeah, go ahead, Ninetales. And I got something to say, but go ahead, Ninetales.
Yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees that he's leaving a void or that he's doing harm, so that's good. But like the two problems are is like Gamergate was like I think that there's always been a perpetual war, is what we should say, against Gamergate. That's always been existing under the surface of like the mainstream online stuff. And Tate is trying to embody that, and many people will. That's true. But I also agree with Ravana that it's not as simple as like it's going to just be the next Andrew Tate. It's going to be someone else. And some people who came to see Andrew Tate specifically may not be as attracted to that person. Also, in the time between, if there even is any, the people who were brought here to like whatever platforms he was on by Tate may no longer feel like they want to hang out on those platforms because they were only there to watch one video at a time. So they're less likely to find the next person on that platform to try to be Tate as well. Now, none of this is like black and white. It's all statistics and none of it's ever like easy to predict. But I think in the net utility of things, it's better to have fewer people saying what he's saying on the internet in general.
Right, exactly. Anybody else? I thought Antarctic was going to say something. Oh, or Purple.
Oh, no.
I was just going to say, like, I think they're right that, like, because he had all the money and he was already famous, that it's easier for him to become that figure, and hopefully there won't be someone with that kind of capital to monopolize on it. But I think also the big thing is that it took so long to ban him. My worry is when the next person comes along, they'll be too slow to act. And I think in general, the internet needs to be quicker at like seeing these bad faith actors and removing them and deplatforming them. Like I think in general, the internet's way too slow. That's just my thought process.
Yeah, I think we need to be calling out platforms and being like, why are you keeping this person here if it's not profits? That should be that would be the only other reason to keep someone like Tate as long as they did.
That is true.
I do just want to say something though. It wasn't just like platforms. There were some really prominent Twitch streamers streaming him on a nightly basis. It wasn't just Instagram or TikTok. Like we have to talk about those big influencers, right? Content creators that have millions of followers. And they kept putting him on. Like, I think some people are to blame for this as well.
Like,
if you ask me personally.
I feel like
it's true. Keep going, Eli.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like especially, and some of my Twitch Andies in here right now, and some people watching might know what I'm hinting at here. That I think a big problem with like content creation, and especially on Twitch, is that like the wrong people keep getting platformed by people that claim to be or want to do good. They keep putting or bringing people onto their platforms and onto Jason, see exactly, you know exactly where I'm going. People want to put these people on their platform because like, oh, look at what this Nazi said. Look at what this misogynist said, and it's like, yeah, okay, we hear what they say, but why are you introducing this to your audience? Like, why are you platforming this? Why are you having this person on to spew their shit? Like, one of the problems that I have right now, and I'm gonna switch to one of you guys in a bit because I'm just the host. But one of the problems that I have is that these people think, well, we can stop them with sunlight and exposure and all this other kind of shit. And it's like, no, people like Andrew Tate, all they want is the sunlight. All they want is the exposure because they're grifters who have a business model. They have a business plan. And that plan is, I need to reach as many people as possible so that I can continue to have a platform, and more importantly, so that I can continue to make that dough. So if people still call it that. So I can continue to make that cash, make that green, that's all it's about. It's a hustle grind. Even if they throw their net out, and as long as they catch at least one fish, they're good. They're cool. They don't need to catch like a whole swath and school of fish with every net toss. They just need like a couple, a few, a 16th, a third. It does not matter. The point is to reach people. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. With people that were promoting it, I don't think they understand. They're like, "Oh, look at this dude. He's stupid." Yeah, you might think he's stupid, but I can almost guarantee you there will be at least one person in your audience now who's like, "Actually, this guy's kind of based. I'm gonna go follow his shit. I'm gonna go watch him and shit."
This frustrates me because, sorry, I interrupted, but I'm just
I was giving it to you guys.
I'm so frustrated with like leftist platforming right wing idiots to like laugh at them when it's like you're spreading their ideas because someone in your audience is gonna pick up what they're putting down. Like, I get that like making fun of the right is fun, but like you need to think before you platform these ideas, and you need to push back on this kind of stuff. You don't need to platform these people. Most of them already have a platform. Just leave them alone.
See, my problem with this is that none of
I think it's also, sorry.
I don't know if you want to go. My point probably isn't that great.
No, your mic is just pretty low, Ninetales. That's why nobody realized you were talking.
It's not. Yeah.
Last time I had
also, I think I'm on a delay, so my apologies.
Yeah, I just wanted to say quickly, like, we don't really know what the answer is. We don't know if exposing them is helping people garner a rhetorics. That way they, next time they encounter these ideas in a vacuum, it's not like it's their first time and they're not like unequipped. But like, if we're going like there, and I do think that there are people who, when they expose these right wingers, they do a good job providing the counter narrative, and you can't go soft on it. This is why I'm always pressing lefties to go harder and not take like neoliberal routes of thinking, because like when you address the right wing bullshit, it's not as simple as like they're wrong because this is morally apprehensible. It's no, like you actually need to be talking about how does this do damage, and not just at the surface level, not at the level everyone knows. How does this do more and more and more? And that's a skill that we need to be demanding from these people, and not just being like, oh well, they're attacking the right, so I guess everything's okay. But at the same time, like if we don't address them, then we're opening up the ability for the rhetoric to possibly make sense to people who otherwise wouldn't have been exposed to the counter narrative.
Right.
Yeah, and I think to expand on that a little bit, like studies have already shown how much faster misinformation spreads online. Like these kinds of ideas in the quote unquote marketplace of ideas don't get shot down by facts and logic. Like that's just not how it works. People are attracted to things that already confirm their bias. So them around is much more dangerous than just deplatforming them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That kind of, sorry, go ahead.
I think that there's a point to be made that like I've heard some people on the left say, "Well, I'm humanizing myself to these people." And through humanizing myself, they're going to find their way to me, to the right side, and it never happens. Part of the problem is that they need to find a way to keep these people coming back on, because now this is their content, this is their money, so they need to find a way to keep these people coming back on, so they don't go as aggressively as they can on these people, because they know they've got 3 more shows lined up where they're going to pull them back on, and they can't piss them off on the show or they're not going to get them back. And they know that just putting a name like Nick Fuentes up or Andrew Tate up or something like that, it's instantly going to be clicks. It's instantly going to be views on their site. So, or their, whatever their platform is. So they, unfortunately, they have a moneyed incentive to continue to let these people in their space and play basically a really shitty version of controlled opposition is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I just
because controversy is what gets the attention.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is like I think whenever you're addressing these things, and in response to you saying specifically misinformation, in terms of like facts, yeah, that's probably true. It's harder to process facts than it is to process the propaganda that people make using intellectual shortcuts or whatever. But at the end of the day, like we've seen what leftist content works. It's not the content that's either like strictly like I'm going to be purely entertaining with no leftist theory, and it's not I'm going to be pure leftist theory with no entertainment. It's something that's literally down the middle, something that kind of keeps your attention, feels good to watch, but also slowly kind of like infuses you with the leftist rhetoric. Because like for someone like me who kind of thinks in terms of leftist theory, probably more than most people and is normal. it's unacceptable for me to accept anything the right wing says because I'm fortified against it. Like it's the material conditions of things that the left can address is is so capable compared to the right wing, which is literally just flailing at the idea that our previous assumptions, which erased all of these issues that we're currently trying to address, should be like a tradition, and that we should currently go back to making assumptions like, oh, if someone's homeless, it's because they chose to be. Like that kind of bullshit that has been statistically denounced. And this is why I think it's critical, because it's easy, like if you walk past a homeless person, it's easy to believe, like, and if you're housed and you've never been through that, it's super easy to believe, yeah, no, they did that to themselves. You have no other frame of reference.
Oh my
And that's
God,
what we're
tell me about it.
Yeah, and I've been homeless, so for me, it's like I've also experienced that shift because I grew up kind of insulated, and then homelessness hit me like a slap on the face, to say the least. And when you can no longer unsee, like how like the things that leftism explains, and then someone tries to hit you with a right wing thing like, oh, abortion is bad because babies' lives. It's like, no, bruh. Like, what about the women or the people carrying the child? I should say.
Fuck them kids. Anyways,
it's unfortunate because I feel like he couldn't have just done this overnight. I feel like Andrew Tate, bringing over his horrible rhetoric, had to look at the internet and say, who can I pull in that would be easy? And unfortunately, misogynists and young kids are the easiest to pull in. And he's like, I already have the misogyny. Let's pull in some like ads that kids might look at, or like something that a kid might like for like a short amount of time. And that's honestly really fucked, that he like physically had to look like, hey, kids are the easiest to pull, let me basically brainwash them into hating women.
And what's really sad about that too is how, like, one thing I realized is how it's like you never hear from like right wing people that, like, you know, the misogynists and people like Andrew Tate are coming for your kids, even though they most definitely are. Like, they're in a way they're coming for your children by, you know, teaching them this shit. But it's always the trans people, the gay people, the feminists. Like, those are the people that are coming, the woke mob. Those are the people.
I'm coming for your children because I'm trans and gay. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You can't say that because now I'm going to get clipped and then it's going to be all over the lips of TikTok. Is going to rise from the ashes like a fucking phoenix. And it's all Raccoon's fault.
Hey,
damn
but
it.
here's
It's all
thing.
my fault. I'm the downfall of your
may.
entire Twitch stream.
Go ahead,
Let them
Nutels.
clip us. I don't give a fuck. Every
Oh no, I
time
was
that
joking.
they try,
They can clip me.
I know.
anytime.
I'm trying to be motivational for the people who are afraid. Like, let them clip us. Let them take us out of context. Because then when we come, because like there will be a portion of their fan base that actually is like, is that really what they meant? And they want to hear what you say. And if you can give a competent, and I use competent not in the ableist way, but in terms of like leftist theory, a competent explanation for for the context of what you were saying and how it applies to things, I think that actually gives you, like, I look at it as like having 1 foot in and 1 foot out, right? Like if we have all our feet out, we can't reach them ever, and we're never going to bring over the people who are kind of like on the fence and not really sure. But if you're able to like address them, like I dealt with Heather Hine on Twitter. I didn't make a big deal out of it because she's just going to say dumb shit. But like at the end of the day, some of her fans might have read that and thought differently about something she says in the future. And that to me, like, I don't think of this as being like, how can you just take this group and put them somewhere else? I think of it as like eroding like the sands that these people stand on.
I can see that. I can see that. Keyblade, you wanted to say something?
I think, you know, Ninetales is 100% right, but I think what we as leftists need to do is focus on the material conditions and how we can actually like convert people through like theory and like ideas through entertainment and such, rather than like and exposing the rights like charade of like the marketplace of ideas and all this garbage, like, because we get too caught up in like debating them in the marketplace of ideas and disproving them rather than like showing what we can actually do for people. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, we're not going to win anything just by like debating them and showing people how wrong they are. I do think it has its utility, but I like when I said originally, and I forgot to make this point at the end of what I said, that we don't really know what to do. I think like the true thing is like the best thing to do is accept that like progressive leftism is the best antidote to right wing propaganda and indoctrination, and also to like really balance that, like not just the entertainment and theory thing like I was saying, but also kind of what Purple Keyblade was getting into, like focusing on like what are people in your community doing, like thinking outside of the screen and focusing on like what does real activism look like, how can we provide alternatives for people that like are facing systemic violence and are like, for me, I can't get my like in Canada it's actually really difficult to get my hormones. I'm lucky I got my estrogen after getting cut from my clinic, and I'm still trying to get my testosterone blockers. But that like the ability to provide these alternatives is really what makes us powerful, because when people become disenfranchised, the right will just have a bunch of words and we'll actually have actions.
Yeah, right, exactly. Sorry, I'm distracted by I didn't realize there was a cat in here when I closed the door, but apparently there is, and I think she wants to get out. Give me
Is
a
it
hot second.
is it cat time?
Cats are
Show
cool.
your cat, Eli.
No, it's not cat time. It's not
I
cat
have a cat.
If I
I
try
think
to
she's
pick
over
her
here.
up, she'll like latch onto the
Lulu.
carpet, or she'll like run away.
There you are.
Oh,
Nice.
Hold on,
She's
hold on.
licking herself.
Let me see if I can try.
Over
Come
there
here,
on the bed.
Build,
come here.
building off of what has been discussed for like the last several minutes or so, um, I think what we all are acknowledging, like unconsciously, and maybe not like directly saying it, but we're all acknowledging that the messaging on the left needs to improve by a lot, by a landslide,
100%.
100.
because the right the right has a very easy way of getting their messaging across, whether it makes sense or not. They appeal to your base feelings. They appeal to the feelings of their followers and what they're used to. The whole conservative movement, they really do appeal to that. It's harder to shift that for the left, because the left doesn't really appeal to the feelings so much as
Well,
they
I'm
appeal to the
sorry, but
truth.
facts don't care about your feelings. Trump won the election. The facts don't care about your
Yep.
feelings. Learn your facts, liberal.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
That's
my
what they do.
god.
It's
Gay
easy. It
people,
is so
they are
easy for
from
them.
Satan.
Gay
Exactly. It
people are
is so easy for
disgusting and all that
them.
jazz.
My views do
But
not reflect the views that were just espoused.
sure. Um,
sure, Eli.
so but the thing that I find fascinating is that for the left, we do have hope in certain social media platforms like TikTok, because I found a lot of leftist content. I found Eli through TikTok, and I joined his server through from him, and I started
I
up my
wish I
own
found
TikTok
Eli
page
through
because of
TikTok.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
leftist TikTok, let's go.
I
like there's a
found Eli
lot of
through a
stuff out
taco
there.
place. That's where I picked him up by the back of
please,
his.
no. I picked you up at the taco place. Let's be honest here. I picked you up at the taco place that we were both working at. Like, I saw right through you. The first day I saw you, I was like, "Yep, that's a lefty." Yep. That's one of them blue-haired lefties that the conservatives done warned me about.
Yo, don't
I'm
forget
have
about
to
the
steer
pronouns, all
clear.
right? It's blue hair and pronouns.
Yeah, blue hair and pronouns. Yep, blue hair and pronouns.
Oh man. I literally just had green hair
And
recently, but I had
I
to dye
just
my
had
hair
purple
for
hair.
my job, so.
I got purple hair in the pronouns. I go by neo pronouns.
Hell
What are you
yeah.
gonna do now?
Nice. That's the way. That's the future.
Yeah.
Just now.
So, did
But
anybody?
yeah, like
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. The point that I was trying to like finish through with it is that what we need to do is look at how each of us do our content on certain platforms. Twitter, I don't think, is a great place for leftist ideology to really prosper unless you already have like a big presence like Nina Turner. Um, she's I
Queen.
can see her getting so many views on her content, and she makes it
Queen
so
shit.
digestible, so relatable and digestible. And stuff like that. Like I think that TikTok has been a massive uh contribution to leftist ideology, which is why I also think is the reason that TikTok has been hammered by right-wing ideology trying to take it over. Like all the supremacists,
Libs
all
of
the
TikTok.
fascists basically trying to take it over. Because what we can do with TikTok, what we can do with this type of media, this easily digestible 30-second, 1 minute, going up to 3-minute content, is getting those leftist ideas across in a way that people can just easily understand and easily get. And if they want to argue against it, okay, we just make a response video, and we keep making response videos, and we keep making content, and we keep making comments, and we just keep going again and again and again as many times as we need. But all of that information will be that exposure that people need in order to see, you know what, my views are not that great. My views don't actually make sense. I'm listening to this. I'm listening to them talk about how the housing market is a complete scam. I'm listening to them talk about how our wages have never really gone up and why that's the case. I'm listening to how they're talking about companies and CEOs making record profits and how I'm still struggling to get food on a daily basis. And yeah, I've had ideas about this before, but those ideas that I've had don't make nearly as much sense as the stuff that I'm hearing from this easily digestible video. I think that that has been a massive tool and that we are underutilizing it.
That's why those, like, I'm sorry to keep bringing up, but those 30-second Minecraft parkour videos do so good. It's because it's brought down within 15, 30 seconds. There are colors, and oh my god, blocks jumping. Wow. Like
literally you have it all. Like look at the cat being busy listening to my that's right, little kitty. Take in the communism. Take in the socialism as you watch the blocks move. Take in the socialism.
Make it become you.
What are we, Tetris?
Take in the lefty shit as you watch the guy jump on all the little blocks. Yeah, you like that? You like that? Yeah, that could have went places.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Beckett.
And we kind of talked about it last week with the diversity of messaging on the left, how hard it is to unify because there is such a diversity of ideas. Whereas on the right, you have this very straightforward, like unifying messaging that everybody's saying the same thing and they all agree with each other. And that's not true on the left. And I think that that's part of our problem. How do we really come together and conglomerate in a way that we can really push against their rhetoric? And I think places like this, like Eli's server, is a great place to start. We need to come together and actually talk about stuff as leftists and not, constantly be fighting each other, as well as we need to be better at organizing. That's another issue that the right outdoes us on, is they are very organized, and that's how they're able to take down people. Like I've seen, like you brought up Nina Turner. She's gotten like Matt Walsh brigaded on there. Even her.
Oh my god.
It can happen to anyone. It can happen to anyone.
I
and it's because of the broadness of their effort and their ability to kind of come together as a unified group and all target the same thing. We are really bad at that.
I don't think we need a unified message, though. Like, here's my thing. Like, I think a diversity of message both reflects what the left is doing and is actually good because it means that we can handle more than the right. And what the right is doing is they're taking traditional norms and trying to reassert them as either like a moral or political position or somewhere in between. And it's really easy to give the perception that you're unified and that they're really not. And in fact, it's really the grift that makes them seem unified. But I personally don't need my comrades to have a unified message with me necessarily. There are things where like if you contradict this, then like I don't know how I can work alongside you. I don't want to give like specific examples because that might be controversial. But at the end of the day, like it's more worth it to look at like the emergent value of this and or like kind of like how like a tree branches out than being stuck in the trunk and only being able to think in that linear way.
I mean, like I agree.
Sure, and I don't think that it needs to be an overall umbrella message. I think we need to come together more and be able to present a message that is appealing to the liberals.
I think
the focus should be solidarity rather than
I think it's also like
solidarity.
Yeah, presenting like saying, okay, this is the problem. like we all need to acknowledge that this, at the very least, that this is the problem. And I think a problem with liberals, and this can go into my another question I had, or it will after I let some of the rest of you guys speak, because I don't want to be talking the most on here. But like the problem that I have mainly with a lot of liberals is that liberals can't even like acknowledge that a problem or that the problem exists. They don't see like particular like certain things as like actual problems, and they'll always tell like lefties and like feminist types and and you know, all of us, they'll always be like, you're just overreacting, go touch grass. And meanwhile they don't touch grass at all. Like you ask them what color grass is and they go black. Like, no.
You can't do this to me, I'm colorblind, Eli.
Oh shit. Oh, look at me being ableist. My bad. I'm sorry. But like, yeah, but like you guys get what I'm saying, right? Like about how like, like they like with in many cases, I think one of the biggest problems with like lefties is that like we there's a good portion of us. Well, yeah, a good portion of us, even though I really don't necessarily consider liberals to be so much of lefties, but like there's so many of us that do not even acknowledge that the problem is there or that it's something that needs like public outcry. I think I probably get more pushback now, especially on Twitter, and I'm not big on Twitter like at all. They're like I'm pretty sure like Jason and Ravana especially and Ari all dwarf me on by a wide margin on Twitter. But like, you know, one of the I see from even them, like, you know, the biggest pushback that they get is from, and a lot of other lefties get, is from liberals in many cases. In many cases, like structure.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Ravana's gotten her
so
knees
annoying.
dirty with some of these people in the trenches and shit, right? Like
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's like legit. I hate going after liberals because I feel like at some point we all need to work together.
Right,
I mean, when that's gonna happen, I don't know, but there are legitimately Democrat like group chats on Twitter that like attack progressives, especially if they're smaller, and they'll mass report. And it's so fucking sad because like they see us as an adversary, but it's like, no, I'm pushing for system change. You are pushing for duct tape on a breaking bridge. I'm pushing for a whole new entire bridge.
Exactly.
And it's just like, and it's this sort of like insane hate that you receive. And I've seen screenshots of this group chat. It's actually like people with like 40,000, 50,000 just like talking shit on actual liberals and like, you know, or excuse me, talking shit on progressives and stuff like that. And it honestly like really sucks. And I hope there's a point where we can all work together, but I don't know.
Right. Like
I think there's a difference between rejecting liberals and calling them out. Because the way I look at it, and I know this is a really extreme take, but if you think about it and how neo-fascism works within the system now instead of how turbo-fascism kind of formed its own system, neoliberals are going to be the door holders for fascism. It's and they may not want to believe that, but that's why we need to call them out and say, okay, well, if you want progressives to stand by you and your causes, like middle class unions and stuff like that, then we need you to be able to have solidarity with us. And not, you know, stand with reactionary takes or, for example, have policies where trans people need to prove themselves in order to have treatment.
Right. And then like actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and ask my question now. And that is, how, going back to like Andrew Tate, right, and him being banned, how do we feel, or how did you guys feel when the immediate, like immaculate, right on the nose, like not even 2 seconds after him being banned, what we saw, especially on like places like Twitter and what have you, was, because like you didn't see this shit on TikTok, by the way. You only saw it in places like Twitter and shit, right? Like on TikTok, everybody was like, "Bye, good riddance, bye, get rid of him, bye." You do it too. I'm talking about like when he was announced to have been banned off of Facebook and Instagram. Like everybody on TikTok was like, "Yep, bye, TikTok, come on, let's go." Like nobody was like doing the shit that liberals are doing on like Twitter and shit, which was the marketplace of ideas and like, well, you're just contributing to the next one rising. What was another one? Oh, one of my favorites that I saw was that Andrew Tate, and this was evident that this person had never seen, and y'all know who it is, never seen a Tate take before, obviously, and that is like, this is happening because we don't take men's issues seriously enough, and we brush their issues aside and what have you, even though, and the rest of us who were saying are like, this has nothing to do with fucking men's issues, you dumbass, so shut up. Like, how did you guys feel about those takes? And like what are your thoughts on, like, what goes through your mind when you're sitting there reading such insanity and like such easily debunkable memeage? Like, what is going through your head at that point? Like, anybody, go ahead.
I mean, it's the same old shit. Like, every time like one of these right wingers gets banned, they'll say like, "Oh, what about freedom of speech?" Like, okay, but like the Twitter alternative had to ban people posting pictures of their poop, so you can't have absolute freedom of speech because weird shit happens. Like, what about child porn? Are you pro child porn? Like, there is always limits on free speech, and these right wingers are just full of shit. Like, I don't pay much attention.
Sorry, libertarians, you have to leave. No child porn here.
There are things that
Yeah,
you
well,
stumble
and
across on Twitter that you don't want to stumble across on Twitter.
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think it also has to do with, we have to look at the overall amount of harm reduction, right? If this having a platform is giving people credence to do horrible things, like we talk about with stochastic terrorism and things like that, like, the harm reductive thing to do would be to ban them and to deplatform them. And liberals drive me, it's infuriating with their free marketplace of ideas arguments.
Right.
Yeah, I disagree with the free marketplace of ideas. You can't yell fire in a movie theater. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. Like, the idea that people should just say anything and have no consequences for it. I mean, even if you look at, like, let's say the First Amendment, freedom of speech, you have a right to say what you want, but you don't have a right to be free of consequences for what you say.
You have the freedom to do what you want, but what I do with it is my issue.
These hands, they fit and they ship. FedEx said so. So, like, tread with caution. These hands fit and they ship. Tread with caution, damn it. Yeah.
I'm mad he brought up FedEx and not Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, because Amazon doesn't have a if it fits it ships for free policy, which is why Amazon is one of the many reasons why Amazon is ass. But FedEx said, "Yo, if it fits, it's gone. It's going." So that's why I always say these hands fit and they ship.
We need to have like some sort of awareness of like where the discussion is going as well. Like, think about what do you call it? Like the studying skull stuff. Like, we don't talk about that as if it's valid anymore. Yet we still have panels where people will say, "Are can women be men?" and blah blah blah, and all these discussions that we should be past. Yet it's popular to have discussions that are technically like behind the times and getting pretty not aging well as far as being kind of cis normative and transphobic. And so I think like you can even have freedom of speech, but there becomes a point where it's like, what the hell are you doing? Why the hell are you still having this conversation?
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
That's very true. Like,
Also,
what's the point of us having? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eli.
I was just gonna say also, Smite Night will be joining us soon. Continue.
Oh,
We're still
nice.
ending at 9 because I have a talk with the one and only Sansol, so that I'm actually looking forward to for once. But go ahead.
Oh wait. Oh, you're actually going to have a conversation with him?
He said he'd be down. I was like, let's talk about you staying the fuck out of black folk business, and he was like, sure. So
Oh, I gotta be a part of this. Crap. I
I
forgot.
would love to
actually forgot what
stay,
to say.
but I gotta go to work.
That's
Have
fine.
fun at work.
Aw.
But go ahead, Antarctic.
And
I think Ravana had something to say.
forgot. Ravana could go ahead because I totally forgot what I was going to say.
I was just going to say, you mentioned like the people who immediately jump to, this is a result of us ignoring men's issues, which I think is just an attempt to obfuscate from what this really was, which was violent misogyny, and attempting to paint the abusers in this situation as the true victims, which is absurd. And I mean, really what you're seeing is people who are, I don't know, maybe insecure in their own masculinity, which is, unfortunate, but they I don't know, felt some sort of camaraderie with this, idea that they have created this picture of who they think Andrew Tate's audience is, and sympathized with them over the women who were, as a content creator who's a woman, I immediately noticed a change in how much misogyny I received in my chat as soon as Andrew Tate got big. If I put Andrew Tate's name anywhere in my stream title, there's going to be a bunch of people coming into my chat to tell me that I shouldn't be allowed to drive, or that I'm stupider than the person who is spending their Monday night yelling at me in my Twitch chat, despite the fact that I'm a lawyer. So it's just this. It's an absurd notion, as opposed to what most of Andrew Tate's audience is: people who jumped on a fad, who it's not this idea of this disaffected, disenfranchised, like person who has been this man who's been beaten down by society, who's been oppressed or whatever, or who's constantly consuming media that's telling him that men are bad. That person might exist somewhere, but the idea that that's what most men's experiences are in this world is ridiculous. They're living in a world where they're constantly being reaffirmed. And anytime that there's any pushback from women saying, hey, these things that you're doing, or these parts of society are oppressing us, we need to address that, then that feels like oppression to them. Then they feel like victims. And of course, generally, I'm not talking about all men or anything like that. Not all men. Hashtag not all men. But yeah, it's just like this immediate need to defend misogynists over women or femme people who are the victims of this rhetoric. And ultimately the victims of Andrew Tate's rhetoric, are also the men who he's telling are not masculine enough, that they're not men enough. So it's the idea that women have beaten these men down by telling them they're not men, so they turn to a man who also tells them that they're not men or masculine. It doesn't make sense, and the whole argument was ridiculous from the jump. So I've been calling that out quite a bit, because it's just illogical. It just makes no sense. It's just an attempt to reframe the conversation in terms more favorable, towards the abusers in the situation.
It's funny that you said that, Ravana. That actually touches on something that I had brought up in our discussion last week, and I'll try to be as concise as possible with it. This is an idea that we could all be thinking about. So last week I had brought up that for most of us in our age group, our generation, we were raised, particularly the men, in a very toxic masculine society. We were fed ideas that were just inherently toxic and toxic masculinity. And while a lot of us are also now being rightfully bombarded with the idea that the things that we grew up with were toxic and they're not appropriate and they are harmful to both us and to women and to anyone in between, whoever you identify as, um, we're constantly getting hit with that. And this is now me speaking from my personal experience, because I had mentioned last week that I used to be more apolitical and kind of right leaning. Definitely not like a right wing person, but right leaning and apolitical. And I had a lot of those same ideas and thoughts. But when I grew up and when I got into college and I was exposed to a lot more progressive ideas, I did not know who I was to be as a person. I did not know. And I'm sure that there's a lot of men in the similar age group who also just don't know who they're supposed to be, because they grew up learning toxic masculinity and then coming to the realization that that is not how they're supposed to be. So, what does it mean to be a man? Now, I'm not saying that this is, an excuse for men's behavior or a justification for men's behavior or anything like that. But what I am saying is that there is a conflict that has not been resolved, because men who, have this idea that they're supposed to be men don't know how to be a man, because the very concept of being a man has been challenged, has been conflicted. So when they hear people, and this is what I'm thinking now, when they hear people like Andrew Tate or anyone who's like him, a charismatic person who espouses that same toxic masculinity that we grew up with, it's very easy to fall right back into that because it's what we grew up with, it's what we were comfortable with, it's what we knew. Not to say that this is right. It's definitely not right at all. But you can easily see how that happens. So yeah, whenever somebody as charismatic as him pops up, you're going to see that increase in misogyny and toxic masculinity because it's just reinforcing what we were taught when we were growing up.
Right, and I think it's fun. I like that you said that because like that's kind of what I was trying to tell. Like a lot of the liberals, especially, is that like the people that you think you're going to be reaching in Andrew Tate's audience or audiences like that. In many cases, they're not actually looking to be swayed. They're not looking to be they're not having an open mind. What they're looking for when they go into spaces like Andrew Tate's, and others, is a confirmation bias. They're looking for someone to reinforce and tell them, like, when they hear people like Andrew Tate, think, oh my God, thank God I'm not the only one who thinks this way. Thank God I'm not the only one who talks this way. Thank God I'm not the only one who treats women this way. I thought I was wrong because of the feminists and everything, but I felt I was right. Keyblade, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, with the whole, like, oh, this is really about men's issues, it's very reminiscent of the, like, oh, this is about ethics in games journalism. Like, it's constantly, like, there's always a smokescreen on the right of, like, oh, it's not about gay people, it's about grooming. Like, there's always, like, a plausible deniability, and we need to always counter that and always be like, no, that's a smokescreen, and this is obviously really about misogyny or really about, treating women badly or whatever it is.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And like you had brought up Keyblade that it was like, oh, people were saying like, I had said that people were saying that this is like Gamergate Part 2, and then you said, well, Gamergate never really left, and you're right, it didn't. If anything, um Gamergate, which I missed somehow. I really wasn't on the internet that as much at that time, and I really was not. Like, I don't know how I missed it, but I did. But I've researched it and I've seen the Innuendo Studios videos on Gamergate, and that was
content.
A lot. That was a lot. But Gamergate never ended. It just kind of solidified and like melded into like society in today's, like, I guess if you want to call it internet culture, like with shit like Kiwi
it was a
farms and
cultural
other shit.
turning point.
Yeah. And so now shit like that has become normalized. Like the behaviors that happened within Gamergate have now become more normalized.
I actually had a roommate who actually believed the ethics in game journalism thing, and I had to like laugh and leave the room. And I don't want to hate on this guy because I think he was kind of just gullible and didn't really know what was happening. It was a bit terminally online, not to be rude. So like, and he was always polite to me, but like, I don't know how to deal with people actually believing like the smokescreen that the right like puts forward sometimes, because it's like exhausting to like try and debate them because they think you're overreacting at every turn.
Right. Yeah. It also, we have to understand that like another reason why people like Andrew Tate being banned is good is because now they can't pick on like gullible people. Now they can't pick on people who may not be who may be a little bit, I don't know the word I want to use, a bit behind maybe, because a lot of those people, and I say this again as someone, what do you say?
Vulnerable, like,
yeah, and I say this as someone again who works with like homeless people for a living, right? Like a lot of my clients are people who struggle with like mental health disorders, mental health issues, developmental issues, especially. Like I have plenty of clients who I service on a daily basis who like me and my team talk about, and talk to, and we're like, we need to get this person a guardian. They need to be, and they have like, and where they can't live by themselves in many cases, and they have like Nazi or far right tattoos on their body somewhere, because these people are taken advantage of in many cases by talking heads and figures and what have you, that preach bullshit to them and take advantage of that vulnerability. And these people can be swayed to those sides. I don't want to say easily, but they can be swayed to those sides and what have you. And it's good even for these people to not exist, because then these people are no longer able to be used as like pawns for these people's like dumb culture wars and shit, and then they just discard them anyway when they're freaking done with it.
The not your shield stuff.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah, it's a
very
lot of
aggravating.
why people who work with former white nationalists and like neo-Nazis and stuff like find that it's generally not that hard to pull them out because a lot of these people are just after community.
Yeah.
That's why they get into it and that's what they want. And so if they're given a reasonable alternative to like neo-Nazism, then a lot of times they can be pulled over.
Some of them.
They want that identity, community and identity.
I
Yeah,
think the biggest
like,
thing,
and
if you're trying to move somebody, if they're in one of those spaces where they're on the far right or a part of like some bigoted group, and that's notably damaging to society, um, I I think that you're not going to get as much of that from like somebody who's a streamer, but from somebody who's a good friend or a family member or someone like that. Those are the people who can convert and change people because these are the people that they deal with every day. Oftentimes, these are the people they respect, they care about. They care about these people's opinions. So facts and logic don't always work, but that emotional appeal from family and friends does make a huge difference.
Yeah, it does. It does in many. It doesn't always work, but in many cases, like it can, and so it's up to other people who, sometimes us. It doesn't always have to be, people like us, but it's up to other people to make sure that we, say the right things as much as we can, to others, and so that they can then pass it on to like their family and what have you. So yeah,
it's difficult, and I'm going through this with my mom. I have videos up on my TikTok about my experience with trying to pull my mom out of QAnon. She just keeps getting worse and worse and deeper into her little hole of watching right-wing videos and not knowing that that's the hole that she's falling into, and conspiracy theories and all that jazz. And I try as much as I can to, be a positive influence, speak to her logically about the things that she is espousing, but it's really hard. Like if I had a background in deprogramming, I'm sure it would be a lot easier. Yeah, it's a cult. Kind of like longing for community because she's been so disconnected is how she got into it.
I mean, my dad is unfortunately in a Christian cult, so that's fun. And trying to talk him out of that is difficult. So I sympathize. I mean, it's not QAnon, but it's a lot of homophobic, transphobic garbage, and I'm sorry. But I think like communities like this, like Eli's community, are also really good for like, you know, online communities. And I think leftists should like try to like introduce people to more leftist communities rather than white supremacy, obviously. So yeah.
right. Like, why is there's why would I would never want to talk to, typically I would never want to talk to like a Naz boy. I'd rather talk to my Jewish friends. Like, I would never really want to talk to a misogynist. I would want to promote, women and femme people. Like, that's who I would want to talk to. Why would I want to talk to the person that keeps victimizing other people? Why would I want to do that? If I want to stop them, and if I want to, why would I give them the microphone? You know what I mean? Why would I do that? I'd rather, which is kind of the point of my content for the most part, giving other people who typically are not given the microphone, especially by like, liberals and conservatives. Like, I'd rather give them the microphone. Like, here, you talk for a little bit. Like, you talk for the entire time. Like, because, sometimes you don't get to. And I think you should. So, yeah. And now it's quiet. I guess I said something wrong.
I'm listening to my upstairs
No,
neighbors.
it was good.
No, I was busy sending an invite to, the chat, the Twitch chat to the community.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
I was just waiting to see if anyone else had something to say first because I talk a lot.
Black Yamato, if you're interested, I can invite you on like the next one or something, maybe. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know what. Let me know. Just let me know. Yeah. There we go. Anyways.
I don't mind dropping out for somebody to come in.
Nah, it's cool because like we're waiting on Smite Night to get here, who should be here like any minute now because it's 8:30.
Oh, nice.
And I would like to hear them talk and them talk on this issue. and what have you. Do you guys have any questions for like the panel and like chat and everything? Because you guys can ask. Like, this is not.
I actually do have a question.
This is not some like hardcore, like super. I mean, this is a serious topic, but like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh my god, it's gotta be super professional. Only smoke when it's your turn. Like, nah.
Oh my god, Eli being professional for once? Oh my god.
Fuck you.
Actually, Eli, I was actually wondering, and I guess this is open for Jason as well, but because I'm femme perceived, I don't really experience a lot of like male locker room kind of internet talk. So I was wondering, do men like try to get away with like sexist like talk in front of you on the internet and stuff? And how do you like, how should people go about shutting that down? Because I think it's different when you're a woman receiving like sexist shit in the internet. So, and since we're talking about like Gamergate and online, like, you know,
I'm actually extremely
toxic
direct.
figures.
I'm extremely direct, very direct, and I'll just tell them to shut the fuck up. They need to rethink how they're fucking viewing things. And
I feel like people
sometimes
are
I'll just
too
say, let's
afraid
unpack
to
that shit, you know, and I make them unpack why they're saying the shit they're saying, and in the end, they feel like an asshole. So, but yeah, I have zero tolerance for that bullshit. But yeah, people try.
Yeah, I imagine they would.
Raccoon was gonna say something, and then I'll give my piece.
Oh, I work at a kickboxing place. I'm a manager now. Be proud of me.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They're saying they will run your fate.
Look, better that than the archery that I was planning, because you know you can recover from punches and kicks. You can't really recover that easy from an arrow to the knee.
That's
you know.
fair. As somebody who also does archery, you're right. I get a bunch of these like guys coming in thinking like they can get away because I'm a trans man. I'm very like masculine presenting unless I am in drag, which I did right before this. But they think they can come in and like do locker room talk around me and around the other guys, and I'm like, shut it down. If you don't shut it down, I'm kicking you out. And I think you just have to have like that mentality. You can't let people walk all over you, especially if it makes you uncomfortable. You have to say, hey, shut up. Ayo, this is not okay. And like explain why it's not okay. Like he was talking about, like, it's not okay. And I feel like the more we stand up for things that aren't okay, the more these men and these misogynists will stop, and they'll be like, hey, maybe that isn't okay.
Like, you ever tried telling somebody? I'm gonna get my piece, and then I'm gonna let the one and only go ahead and talk. But
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Have you ever like had somebody? Have you ever like tried to tell somebody, just like, especially a dude, right? Tell them like, hey, don't say the R word. Oh my god. Like,
oh my god.
Like, Mount Kilimanjaro
as an autistic
erupts.
man, yes.
Sorry, as a disabled person, I've had to do that, and like it's really uncomfortable.
Like Mount Kilimanjaro erupts, and I've had and Arctic and Beckett, they know I've had conversations with people about that word in particular. Like, why are you talking? Stop. But it's mainly just like Jason hit on the head. It's just, you know, you shut that shit down. Like, usually, like, there are some times where like I have not shut it down like as quickly as I should have when I'm like mid discussion with somebody or something. But in many cases, just literally what Jason said, like going through the steps. Like, okay, why do you think this way? Well, why do you think that way? And you literally just sit there and you just ask why until they hit rock bottom, and then it's like, oh, you're just a dick. All right, go ahead. Smite Knight, the one and only. Go ahead and introduce yourself again.
Yeah, okay. I'm Smite Knight, he, him historian, recurring guest on this panel, and I do history, politics, news. Currently on streaming hiatus right now, but I'm working on a big project all about surveillance capitalism. So hopefully that'll be really cool. So, yeah, happy to be here.
I love how you're on a streaming hiatus and you said, yeah, I'll come on. Love you for that.
No. So I should clarify that actually, because that's a good point.
Yeah.
I am on streaming hiatus for my own streams. I don't want people to think that I've like left Twitch politics like, completely or anything, or that I'm like not a part of the community. I am. I still hang out in chats. I come on panels. I do all the things that, a regular Twitch streamer does, except do my own stream, and my cat is destroying something right now. But
typical
anyway,
cat.
Your cat wanted violence.
Felt
if you guys are lucky, they'll actually get up here. This is not just for show. They actually do get up on this thing.
Oh, cute.
I have one too. I kind of wish my office was big enough to where I could put another one in here so that my cats could appear on stream. But I think I'll just put a camera on my desk so we can pick them up when they're on the. Yeah, I'll have a little kitty cam for the cats. Anyways, the topic for tonight, Smite, is Andrew Tate being banned. How do you feel?
Like, okay, so if I'm being, that's a very cute cat. If I'm being
She's a very
completely,
cute girl.
if I'm being completely honest, I don't really feel anything. I'm gonna be. I didn't know who Andrew Tate was like until about a month ago, and I remember seeing some of his content, covered by some friends or people that I follow. I was like, oh, so he's just like a weirdo who has like a platform saying some really stupid shit, and like him getting deplatformed. I don't know. It just it felt like the most It's a Monday like I've ever experienced. I seems about right. What did he say? Women are like farm property or something? Is am I
He
in the
actually
ballpark?
described in detail how he was gonna chop up his girlfriend with a machete after he ever found her cheating on him.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Damn.
Hold on.
I did not know that.
I just find it funny.
What? I didn't hear about that.
I just find it funny how when women say shit like that about dudes will like flip shit. Like even if they're like joking, even women are like clearly joking, right? Like they'll dudes will just lose their shit. But then when dudes do it, it's like, oh, what a visionary. He's amazing. Yeah, like I want.
It reminds me of like whenever women jokingly are like men are trash, they like freak the fuck out. But like men will seriously like harm women, and they'll be like, "Oh, visionary! What a king!"
Why do the dumbest people? Because I'm starting to see a correlation. I work with a team that is putting together evidence against a guy named Whole Wheat Pete in the cosplay community. Yeah.
What kind of name is that?
I'll show you his content later. It's a hell in a handbasket of just dumb fucking shit. He's starting to act a lot like Andrew Tate. And now I'm starting to see a correlation of the stuff he jokes about and what he watches. Because at one point, the video is gone now, he actually like promoted Andrew Tate in like a bunch of his TikTok videos, and they're all gone now because people were like, "Why the fuck?" But I'm just now starting to see that correlation of fuck. Why?
Because it ties all the way back into toxic masculinity. Remember what I was saying earlier about how this is the environment that we are raised in, particularly men. What are we taught to be manly? Violence, anger, harm, all of that stuff. We were taught to glorify it. Like, that's the way that we see the world. So, of course, we're going to be perfectly fine with other men talking about very violent acts because that's what we, attribute to being a man. And what we attribute to being a woman, thanks to toxic masculinity, is peace and calm and obedience and civility and all of that kind of stuff. Basically, the opposite of being a man. So, yeah, you're going to find men are going to flip out when you hear women saying anything particularly violent, even just because that's the domain of men, not the domain of women. So, why are you trespassing on the domain of men?
Right.
I don't know, man. I once heard a TERF say "kill all men," and then I was like, I'm just kidding.
You're gonna get clipped.
Yeah, I
That's it.
Wait, no, say it again. What was that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I was like, clipped and chips. Just clipped and chips. That's it.
Listen. I don't care when I get clipped. I'm just like, yo, do it. Do it.
I'll find your videos clipped on like TikTok and I'll laugh and move on.
Like obsessive. Well, you have to laugh and move on, but you also have to tag me so that I can Godzilla a motherfucker's Tokyo.
Like my TikTok is not filled with politics at all. You know I'm not very political. Like my only existence.
Bullshit. Look at you trying to appeal to the centrists. All right, we're done. Never invited ever again. Boot and ban. Lying.
You love me.
Reason for your ban, liar. Your pants are flaming, like on fire. On fire. And I don't mean, never mind. Just pants on fire. That's exactly what that is. Lying ass.
So,
but like, I don't get a lot of political stuff on TikTok. And whenever I see your stuff pop up on TikTok, I'm like, oh, yeah, that exists. And I move on.
So I know, I know I'm like an hour 40 minutes late, but I don't know if we've already talked about like the free speech warriors who have been crying about Andrew Tate on like Twitter.
But if we want to bring that up again, if you guys want to listen,
let's bring that up again.
Free form.
Well, I'm just gonna like my 2 cents on it is that it's like the dumbest kind of take you can have. This idea that, oh no, in order to maintain your authority, you have to take the worst ideas imaginable that have been outdated since like the late 18th century and debate them in the marketplace of ideas to prove that that idea is therefore invalid. And then it'll just die a death like Emperor Palpatine getting thrown down the fucking Death Star. Except, oh shit, spoilers, he didn't fucking die. Neither do these dumbass ideas, by the way. The ideas stay the same too. They don't. They just stay the fucking same. It's like, fuck this bullshit. This idea that you have to purity manage conversations, you know, and like hold this weird pedestal. Like, motherfucker, you're a streamer, okay? You are not like MLK standing up for people's rights, all right? You're not.
You're online.
Yeah, dude. We're all terminally online. I promise this tweet will not be in a museum. All right.
The word of the day.
Well, it's not going to be in a museum because you're Donald Trump.
Oh, but sorry, also,
sorry, like, they won't put it in a book.
But also, like,
give Ninetales real quick because remember we can't really hear
sorry.
Them. They have
oh my god, am I still that quiet? Like I tried.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna make sure people hear you though.
I'm just gonna keep talking. Like, just tell me when, because the game's up full now. I don't know what else to do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the word of the day is definitely entitlement. So, when people come onto this space, like I kind of experienced it too, you feel like it's kind of there for you. It's not there for you. It's there so that way the companies like Twitch and stuff like that can make money. And really, like, the conflation of free speech with platforms like Twitch and stuff like that has always been like a bit of a red herring. And nobody's ever been entitled to have a voice on these spaces, unfortunately. It's better when, you know, people use their spaces better to give other people access who should be entitled, like from a leftist moral standpoint, I guess. But really, like, I feel like with white men, especially having grown up as a white boy, there is this sense of entitlement. Like, yes, whatever is going on right now, it's there for you. And the only reason I felt disenfranchised from that is because I had mental health issues and I never actually felt like any of that was accessible to me. But I still felt like it should have been, which was really, I've had to address that. And like, no, like none of this is actually, like, we're not actually entitled to any of this. We're not entitled to these coffee house conversations where the white lament is the most popular conversation and topic of the day. These misogynists are not entitled to talk about misogyny. There is no law that actually says like misogyny is a protected speech, right? It talks about, like, any law that protects speech talks about speech in general, and then we work back from there, it seems. So I don't know how we address the entitlement these people have, but it does seem like something. It does seem like a point at which we should focus and address. Like, why are you so goddamn entitled to giving your opinion and having people receive it like positively? And why are you entitled to the idea that you can say misogynist shit and not get called a misogynist and treated like a misogynist at the end of the day?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You know, Ninetales, you just gave me a very interesting idea that I know will most likely never exist in reality. But like, what if we actually had a government sponsored platform for speech that is paid for by our taxes and has like a public person, a public servant actually like monitoring this thing? That would be, I think that would be a very interesting idea. I know that it could never happen because no government on this planet will ever provide an actual platform for their people to speak up and like congregate their ideas. But I think that it's a very interesting thought to have.
Even if it did happen, it would start off really, really good, and then it would just fail.
I don't know how that would. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how that would go. I don't.
You'd
know
have
how
so
that would
many
go.
lawsuits anytime
Seems
that
kind of
somebody got shut
cringe.
down for something. They'd be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, my freedom of speech," because it's owned by
literally.
the government now, and therein lies the problem with that.
Yeah, and now you have like validity to the whole like, oh, I am actually being censored. Like my freedom of speech is being like inhibited because this is a government like sponsored or like, you know, sort of platform, whatever.
I mean,
So
it's
it's like,
different when like a tech company that like says you violated our terms of service versus a government like saying you can't say that. Like that's literally what freedom of speech is about. So it gets a bit, you know.
It does. That's why I'm saying it's an interesting idea. Like, I'm not saying that it would necessarily work,
It's good
but
in thought, would be weird in practice.
yeah, yeah.
Very.
You'd reach like a slippery. It would have to be super transparent. It would have to be incredibly democratic, and you would like, you would have to be incredibly careful with it. And I just don't think America does not have like that foundation. We don't have that
Oh
foundation.
no,
Like,
definitely not America at
there's
all.
too
I was thinking
much.
like I was thinking any country in the world would not allow it solely because of the fact that they would allow for a platform for people to actually challenge the power structure that's there. But
Yeah.
The big
but
men in
just because
office
it's
don't want to be challenged.
exactly. But just because we, our generation, our current society can't fathom it, doesn't mean that it's not something that could potentially happen in the future. I'm trying to imagine what could that possibly look like where we have a platform that is actually guaranteed free speech and then the population decides, you know what? These are the restrictions that we have for speech on this platform. The population decides it because it's their taxes, it's their money that goes into it. We decide as a society what is acceptable and what's not. That I think could be a very, very interesting future to look at because what we have right now does not really work. Like that's something that we all have to remember. The societies that we have now, the government structures that we have now, the platforms that we have now, none of them actually work the way that we would like them to work. So maybe we should try something a little crazy.
I mean,
I feel like it would work like 50 to 100 years in the future if the Earth is still here and exists.
If the Earth is still here, yes.
who knows?
If the Earth is still here.
Who knows? By that time, it might actually be flat.
No, the Earth will be a pyramid.
Climate change. The Earth is
It'll be
flat.
a pyramid with an eye.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be like Professor Megan said. Good friend of the stream and the community and everything. That it's a trapezoid. the Earth is a trapezoidal prism, and like giraffes live in hell
Oh
on the
my
bottom or
God.
some dumb shit.
Hear me out.
That she
Hear
was
me
saying.
out. The Earth is a pyramid and the sun is the eye.
Yes. I have
Interesting.
1,000% believe this right now. I don't need any
Egyptian.
evidence. I automatically believe it.
God.
You're gonna get clipped.
Interesting. Egyptian. Okay. Interesting. Anyways,
It's gonna follow me onto my own Twitch streams, and I'm.
so I want to be courteous of everyone's time. Sorry, Smite Night, that you didn't get much time. I really did miss it. Not gonna lie, and I'm not trying to put you on blast or anything, but I do want to be courteous of the time of like the other guests on here. I know some people have to get to their streams, some people have to get back to their streams. You know, some people might be bored of this conversation. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I have somewhere I have to be. I have a specific special boy that I need to talk to. His name is Sansol.
Special boy.
That did not
I
sound
feel
right.
sorry for you, but enjoy that.
Reword that.
I'm going to very much enjoy it. Anyways, I'm gonna let my wonderful guests shout themselves out. Go ahead and show yourself. Drop your links in the chat if you want to, in the server, wherever you want to drop them. We're gonna start with Ari, the progressive brat, first.
Oh, hi, sorry.
No, you're good.
Hi, my name is the Progressive Brat. You can follow me on anywhere you would like to follow me at. Should I just drop it in your chat or?
Yeah, go ahead, drop it in my chat. I don't care. Drop it wherever.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I go by the Progressive Brat. I stream every single night and I stream about progressive politics. So if you want, come on by and say hello. But yeah, thank you for hosting this panel, Monty. And that's all I have to say. Thanks for having me.
All right. Oh, thank you for coming. I was ecstatic when you actually said yes. I was like, oh my God. When like you, Jason, like when all of you said yes, I was ecstatic. But to have like big names, that's amazing. Next, we will go to Jason Society, friend of me and stream and everything. Go ahead, Jason.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it. I am Jason Society. You can find me on Twitch at Jason_Society or on Twitter at Jason Society, all one word. I talk about politics, cannabis, and music. I am a total leftist, so it's all from that vantage point. But yeah, I stream every night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and then Stonercast on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Thank you very much. Please be sure to check him. Oh, and check out Ari as well. Next, we will go to Beckett.
Hey everyone, I am Beckett LA. You can catch me on Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram at Beckett LA. On Twitter and Discord, I'm Otaku Aerialist. And I stream on Twitch right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sort of. So come on by, 4 p.m. Pacific.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Beckett. A good friend of mine, always tunes into the majority of my stuff. Next, we will go to Purple Keyblade.
Hi, I'm Purple Keyblade, also known as Jaden, but I am Purple Keyblade on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube and Twitch. I also cats and pins on Instagram, and I talk about disability and nerdy shit. So if you want to see me stream games, come follow me on Twitch or whatever. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Oh, you're very welcome. I mean, you did kind of like shoehorn yourself, but that's fine. Next we will go to this person down here, Raccoon TV.
There you go. Hi, my name's Raccoon TV. I'm a cosplayer. I'm a disabled streamer. I'm mostly a VTuber. But you get my ugly mug for once. All of my handles are Raccoon TV, Twitch, and Twitter. So if you want to follow me, I stream Minecraft. So if you like Minecraft.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Please be sure to check them out. I've been meaning to play Duck Duck Goose with you in like my chat.
Please.
So
fucking love that game.
Next, we will go to the one and only Ravana. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I stream most nights at like 7 Central Time on my channel. You can follow me on Twitter, Ravana TTV, recently unbanned. Can't suppress the Ray Hive. We keep winning. And then you can see my videos pretty much daily on Rebel HQ's YouTube channel. But thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. And last and certainly not least, but certainly the latest. I'm sorry, I'm a dick. Smite Knight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Sorry I only got to come on for like 30 minutes or something like that. But I got my 2 cents out. So, clip it, chip it, whatever. I'm Smite Knight, he, him historian, like I mentioned. You can find me at twitch.tv, Smite, SMIGHT_Knight, like a medieval knight, because I'm just a big LARPer. So yeah, come follow me. I'd love to tell you when I stream. Don't know myself yet. Working on a big project. You should follow my YouTube where you'll get to see that first. But anyway, Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh, and also don't forget, all of you guys, please feel free to come over to my chat because it'll give me more viewers and drop your links, and then you can dip after that. Last but not least, we will go to not last. Go ahead, Antarctic. Just go.
So I've got to save your butt yet again. All right, I got you.
Just do it.
I got you, bro.
Damn, head mod and saving Eli. Damn.
Listen, I'm new to a lot of this, especially like hosting my own shit. All right, listen, I just got this PC maybe a week ago. Yeah, about those. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, hey everybody, my name is Antarctic. All my handles are either Antarctic or Antarctic Prime. Basically, anything other than that is not really me necessarily. You can find me on TikTok, even though I haven't updated it in like months. You can find me on Twitter, where I repost a lot of leftist stuff. And basically, I am the head mod for Eli's server, even though I have no idea why. He literally just picked me up off the street and just called me head mod. And the only thing you can look forward to from me is an upcoming book called Left of a Catholic House. It basically narrates my journey from being technically conservative into becoming a leftist. So look forward for that.
Yeah, as please go check them out. I think we're mutuals on TikTok. I made you head mod because you kept doing the most, so I said that's your thing now.
Damn, thanks.
Next, we're gonna listen. Okay, you two can fight for it. In the trenches. Anyways, next we're gonna go for. You might be dethroned in Arctic. Next we're gonna go to the one and only Ninetails Fox. Ninetails Cosmic Fox.
Yeah, Ninetails Cosmic Fox. Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed this debate. I don't know if anyone heard me. I don't know if you can hear me still. I thought, if I don't stream and I just don't try to set up my camera, I'll be able to not be late. Apparently, that was a terrible idea because I didn't sound check or anything. If you can hear me, you can find me at twitter.com/M9Scarlet. I had that ready to post in your chat. And, I'm not even logged into Twitch. Never mind. It's been a good day to come on your panel. And thank you everyone for discussing stuff because I kind of looked at Andrew Tate and I was like, I have no idea what I'm really gonna say, and you all gave me stuff to think about, and I really appreciate that.
I find it funny that like a lot of people are like, well, I have no idea who this motherfucker is. But thank you so much for coming on, Ninetails. Yes, please follow them and like their stuff and go watch. Next we're in like, oh wait, no, Keyblade already went, didn't you? Yeah, you already went. I didn't forget anybody, did I?
Yeah, I was supposed to be last but not least, but apparently I am least. And you're just too afraid to say it.
No, absolutely not. Least sound,
we all just take the piss
but
out of
not
Eli.
least. Not least, just the least we can
I don't
hear.
even understand. Normally I clip when my gain's on full, and now you can't even hear me. This doesn't.
You might have to check on Discord like where your input settings for your microphone or what have you, output settings or whatever. All right, well,
fucking with me.
I hate to say this, but get the fuck out, all of you.
Goodbye. Fuck you.
Everybody's like, say less. Thanks so much for coming. All right. So, yeah, I'm still like kind of new to the whole shit. I'm still kind of like new to the whole like panel hosting thing, so I apologize if this was like something that was low key unbearable to sit through. I kind of just want people to come on and talk and like just have good vibes and shit. Anyways,